Hey, what's going on, guys? John English here, John English Technical Services, coming at you with another little Depin driving update. So right here we have the Rovr. This is the Rovr app, and we're currently running a Tarantula X, I believe is what it was called. Not the light cone. The light cone is a very expensive unit that does LiDAR from the same company, Rovr, and they produce two units. One being the light cone, which is all LiDAR, and you have this big old magnetic thing that sits on the top of your roof of your vehicle. It needs like a magnetic surface, so something metal. It doesn't work for like a Tesla that has those glass roofs. So anyway, that's the light cone, but this is not that. This is the little Rovr, and we have a doohickey that's basically USB, and so I hit start collection, and right now we're connected Bluetooth to the USB dongle, and it is a RTX receiver on the roof of the vehicle, magnetic as well. So there's a cable that runs out to the back of my truck, and then onto the roof, and it's magnetic. So it's secure, and it's a nice little kind of like a little pod or a puck, you could call it. And essentially what that's doing is it's increasing the GPS accuracy of the vehicle right now. So all of my devices, including the built-in GPS on the truck, if I were to use like the navigation, I do believe it increases the accuracy. So it improves the accuracy because it's a GNSS, I believe, GNSS receiver. And so what that does, it provides a similar accuracy like a what is it called? GeoNet. GeoNet is based on the same idea. So RTK GNSS receivers work with satellites to improve GPS accuracy up to like a meter or less. So I mean, it's very interesting, this little product. So I kind of got into it early. There was like a price to pay for the Rovr light cone. It was like a first edition drop. I snagged it off a Helium Deploy. I have a code somewhere for that, but I'm not really interested in trying to con anybody out of their money to go buy these things. I'm not trying to give anybody financial or advice in these videos. This is just what I've been doing. This is kind of my experience with it. I should put links in the description and start giving people the opportunity, if they do want to get a little discount, and they do want to help me, help the channel, help each other out. That's all well and good, and I should do that stuff. Right now I'm kind of a clean slate. I don't really have any interest in pushing any products to anybody. I'm just kind of sharing what I've been doing. All this stuff is purchased out of hand. I didn't get sponsorships or promotions. I don't have any contracts with anybody like that. I'm willing to look into that in the future, but I'm not going to get into some sort of situation where I can't speak freely on these devices. So if you get a contract or you're a KOL, which is like a key opinion leader, it really hamstrings you into what you can and cannot say about products. So that's never going to be me, man. I'm always going to share my honest opinion on these things. And so far, the Rovr's decent. It's decent. It's I like the idea that it's complementing the other aspects. It's a piece of tech that's helping my truck be more accurate when it's driving around for GPS. And I like the idea that this is another passive stream of income. So it's not much, but it's there. So anyway, back to Rovr here. So this guy is not like extremely profitable or anything like that. I'm not really sure how to even gauge that with this product. It's just like another like experience. So we're getting tokens. I really don't know, like I'm not getting tons of tokens. I think the big payout was initially when they had this like promotion where you bought this unit and then you drove for so many miles. I can't remember how many kilometers it was, but it was like 2,000 or something, and then you're eligible for your airdrop, which basically covered the cost of the unit. So it wasn't some crazy benefit, but it was nice to have that get covered. And then there was a pump initial, it went to TGE, so the coins were worth something. and there was initial pump, and then, you know, now the price of the project is like a penny or something like that. I'm not too sure. But the cool thing is that these guys are cooking. They have a good few, you know, high-end products. You can go with the light cone, which I would like a light cone. Honestly, I think that'd be sweet to map the world with LiDAR. There's a lot of demand for LiDAR mapping for private companies that want their, you know, maybe their resorts mapped, or let's say I'm a, you know, I have some sort of real estate that I want to get all the data on, and so maybe I can maximize every square inch of it for like a wedding or something, and maybe LiDAR is the way to get the statistics, or the exact square, down to the square inch, or the full dimensions of your facility. Maybe you have a cannabis grow or something like that, or your large scale farmer of cut flowers or something. You have a greenhouse and you need to know like maybe the potential of your setup, and might find something. I'm not really sure what industry specific applications. Right now I know that the resort industry is big on LiDAR. Some of them are coming in with some private groups to get better data on their resorts, and so it's kind of cool. Maybe that also gives you an overlay for your customers to see, you know, how your golf course is set up, or maybe it gives a really high def 3D mapping of some sort of racetrack or something like that. You know, something kind of high end. That's what LiDAR has been being used for. Obviously, there's applications for law enforcement. I know that helicopters now have LiDAR if they're trying to find somebody at night. It basically gives you a really good heat map of an area, and so you get like kind of that combination of thermal imaging, distance, and measurement, all with LiDAR. This camera that I'm holding right now, I'm pointing at this other camera, this thing has LiDAR in it. These new iPhones use LiDAR. So LiDAR is an interesting technology that's getting more you know, it's more prominent. And so Rovr has a LiDAR product, but again, this is not that. This is working with, I believe, the phone's Wi-Fi, the phone's GPS, and that extra little puck that we have attached to the roof of the car. So both those things are working in concert to kind of give the Rovr network an idea of where it is in space and time. And so, yeah, there's some sort of need for that data, and I believe this also is gathering, you know, like similar to what I just previously mentioned on Natix, where it's mapping, you know, events. So I believe this is also doing some smart detection. You know, there's like forward direction of the vehicle, forward direction. So there's a few little metrics on here. I have an RTK is wonderful. The signal is really good. You can go into like an energy saving mode where I hit that little button, the little energy button on the right, and then I think it just dims the screen. I think you could maybe eventually record like a dash cam with this, but I don't know if that feature's enabled in the app yet. There are good updates coming from Rovr. They had the initial app was kind of meets minimum, and now this new map has like fleet abilities and things like that. But again, once you have this running, your phone, that's it. You're running the Rovr app. Your phone is off limits. And actually, this is kind of, it could be considered dangerous just if you're trying to like drive looking through the screen. I wouldn't recommend that. Obviously, you want to have your eyes on the road. But yeah, so the Rovr is kind of a cool thing. I want to say that the light cone, or the Tarantula USB transmitter pod is benefiting all these devices like your B, your in-car GPS system. I feel like it is benefiting that, so there is some sort of there's a cool factor there, but I'm not fully confirming that. I don't know that for you know, as a fact. But if you do, and you're, you know, into this project, and you have some experience with the Rovr system, especially like the Tarantula X, maybe you can enlighten me or enlighten the audience here with your knowledge and confirm that we are there with this product. So I got to kind of pay attention right now. These guys are we have a light here. Yeah, it's not your turn, you fucking idiot. Excuse my language. But sometimes it comes out when I'm driving, you know. You you say some things that maybe you shouldn't to other people, especially when there's a lot of traffic. Holy smokes, this is a lot of traffic. We have a light down here, and right now we were just taking off. We had a client this morning, and so yeah, probably don't need to swear at anybody, but yeah, that's just what happens sometimes. You're pretty critical of other drivers. I'm human too. I'm not perfect. Don't expect anybody in my audience to be perfect, and and sometimes language gets the best of me, and so I'm trying to work on that. Become a better man, have a better upstanding stance when it comes to my reactions to things and people, and let people live and let live, and be have that attitude for gratitude, and bless people as much as I can. So I don't try to there's so many people out there that are ready to fight, and I'm that way. I've been hardwired that way, ready to go at any time, ready to do harm or cause violence, if need be, if my family needs protection or I need protection or something like that, or a loved one is in need. I feel like that's that inner lion, that inner dragon, that man that comes out, comes out, and sometimes when we rear our head as a man, and we can get ugly, we can say things that aren't really good or healthy, and so I encourage us to be grateful, and maybe take a breath before we use expletives in the direction of somebody else that maybe they have a vision impairment or something. Maybe they're just not. They could be on having a hard time. They could have had their house burned down or something. You never know what people are going through, and so having a little bit of compassion, like I'm trying to do here, with understanding of people and things, having a little compassion for folks is, I think, really healthy. And so so that's I guess that's the broader message here in this in this crypto space, to have a little compassion for people, for projects. Everybody's just trying to make a buck. At the end of the day, crypto is really cool. It's a really great opportunity. There's a lot of upside potential. There's a lot of downside potential. You can absolutely get wrecked, and you can get liquidated. And then, a lot of people have this feeling like Bitcoin's it. Bitcoin's the number one. I mean, this isn't Bitcoin. This is all Depin. This is all Solana. So Solana has a lot of upside potential by itself. So, I think, like, if you're into Solana projects, and everybody's in here to turn it into fiat eventually, because that's what this all boils down to. People can say I'm anti-fiat, I'm anti-centralization, but at the end of the day, like, you need money to pay off your bills. Unless you're already super wealthy, you're already a millionaire, billionaire, whatever it is you're doing, and you're well off, you have passive income streams or something like that. But bottom line is, you're after that cash money, you're after fiat. You want the US dollar in your pocket. And so that's what people, they fail to acknowledge. I feel like a lot of times, I'm guilty of that to some degree. I love Caspa. I think Caspa is freedom. It's just like Bitcoin in many ways. It's actually better than Bitcoin in many ways. But people can argue, Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that. Well, Bitcoin is nothing without layer 2s like Lightning. And so if you don't have that understanding that, Bitcoin's, it still boils down to when you need to cash it out, turn it into fiat. So you can feed your family or buy a house or whatever it is your goals are with Bitcoin. If you're just going to hold it, then what's the use case of that? It's just another digital gold, and that's what Bitcoin's all about. It's all about stacking sats and then holding it to the bloody end, and then you die with it. You pass it on to your generation. Your generation thanks you. But at some point, you got to cut the rope and cash out, and then you got to turn that into your native currency. Maybe it's pounds or rupees or dollars or anything. So that's that. I think there's a little bit of level of ignorance that everybody that's in crypto at some point or another is going to need that crypto to work for them. So they need to turn it into more dollars, and so that's the bottom line. We're all trying to make a buck here, and some of us do it in different ways. But at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to: is we're trying to get fiat, and we're trying to feed our families and have a good life. And so, I'm not one of these guys that sells every day all of my crypto into fiat. I do think that we are still kind of bearish right now. There's still bull run action happening. Yeah, Bitcoin hit 123K or whatever it was. But just, we have so many things that are cooking, and I hear other guys on YouTube talking about, the next bear market. It's like, okay, you're preparing yourself for what's to come. I can value that. I appreciate that. But you're not enjoying what is right now, which is, we have a lot of upside potential still. We haven't even gone through September yet. We're in September now, but we still have to go through it. We still have FOMC meetings. We'll still have, rate cuts coming up, all these different catalysts that are coming. And so I think it's short-sighted to call it a day when we haven't really seen. I think there's more for Bitcoin. I think there's a lot more for Bitcoin in the tank. We still have Uptober coming. Uptober is how we know it in the crypto space, because a lot of times the biggest gains have been seen in October. I know there's people that are holding SHIB, for years now, and they're like, I'm ready to get rid of this SHIB. And man, in 2021, SHIB went nuclear in October of 2021, I believe it was. It was incredible. I mean, I was looking at it like, holy crap. And yeah, so some people have round tripped their SHIB and they're ready to get rid of it. And I don't blame you, man. But that's Ethereum. So Ethereum's had a nice move to the upside, and so there's just a lot of opportunity still left in this bull run. And so I think just selling yourself short and getting too far ahead, and looking too far ahead, when you really, it's all about the now, the current. What's going on right now, right here now, with this breath that you're taking? What is available for you to take hold of? Can you kiss your parents still? Are they still in the game? And you still have parents to love? Are you single? Do you have kids? I mean, there's so much to focus on right now. Maybe you're at work watching this, and work is calling you, and you're trying to grind out that clock and let it wind down because you don't like work. Well, work on your gratitude. If you're not liking your work, maybe be grateful that you have that work to do. And so there's a lot of ways to live in the more present moment. Maybe that's through exercise, a breathing practice, or yoga. I'm a big fan of yoga. I'm a big fan of breathing and trying to benefit ourselves and our community. And so that's what I get a kick out. I started a business many years ago, trying to help folks, and ended up helping a lot of elderly, and just like a lot of private instructors do for their gyms. You're a private instructor for strength training or something. You end up helping a lot of retirees, a lot of elderly clients. And without that generation that has the money, that has the kindness and understanding, without those people that are willing to break bread with you and share their wealth with you, we have nothing. I can't tell you how many clients I've ran into that are of that boomer generation, that older generation, the retirees, and they are just squandering every dollar all the way to the end. And they don't ever, they have the money to do it, but they rarely, unless it's absolutely necessary, they rarely crack that checkbook open for the younger generation. And be it maybe a male who's, he has some sort of, like he's, in competition with the younger generation or younger male. Jealousy is a big factor, I feel like, in the male dominated workforce. Like, we have people that maybe look at me as, oh, I'm jealous of him because he has all this knowledge or whatever. And then I can say the same thing about you, man. I'm jealous of you because you've made it. You've got the money, but or I'm younger than you and you're jealous, or whatever the case may be. I don't hold it against you. I understand the dynamic there, and I bless you. I bless these people that maybe have a hard time releasing the funds and putting money back in the economy and helping small business. Because without helping small business, we have nothing. If we're always going to take our money and give it to Costco, Home Depot, or all these big, Amazons or whatever like that, which I do, I give my money to all three of those, and because there is a bargain there sometimes. But if we're always going to do that and never support the local businesses, like if you're going to, I detest. I don't know if you guys have seen these. They're kind of popular over here on the West Coast, but they're these things. This place called Quick Quack, and it's this little subscription-based car wash, and they're private. Like they're I think it's publicly traded. I'm not sure actually the backstory of Quick Quack, but Quick Quack is whack, and I'll tell you why. Quick Quack is whack because it squashes mom and pop gas station car washes. It squashes your coin washes. You know, these coin washes that some people own, they bought that property. They try to buy the land, and maybe they have a 5-bay or a 4-bay wash, and maybe they have enough money to put in an automatic wash. That coin wash is supporting somebody's family. That's a private business, so they are, you know, they're dependent on that. But if you go to Quick Quack and you do the subscription model because you think it's better or whatever, yeah, it might be owned by a family or something like that, but it's still owned by a big corporation, and that is franchised. That was the word I was looking for. They're franchised out, and so you're not helping your local economy. You're not going to the little gas station that is owned by, maybe it's some East Indians, or maybe the local folks that are whatever, but they have a car wash that is in that gas station that is theirs, and they depend on that little thing working. And so I'm definitely not for Quick Quack. I think Quick Quack is whack, and I'll say it again. But yeah, so there's a lot of different ways to slice bread and to get it and help your local economy, and I recommend doing that. I recommend helping out and supporting local as much as you can, and not putting that money into the big box stores as much as possible. So anyway, guys, I've kind of ranted, I've swore in this video, I exposed a little bit of myself, and kind of, you got to hear about Rovr and these different Depins and thoughts on that, and general gratitude. I have a lot of gratitude for my business and for my clients, and for anybody that supports Jets. Anybody that supports John English Technical Services, I'm grateful for. So I appreciate you all, and hope you're doing well and being safe and having a great attitude and staying grateful, and get outside, get some sun, sweat a little bit, eat some good food, grow some good food in your garden if you can. If you can't, try to find somebody that does, and support local. Once again, do some trade, get some produce in your life, and enjoy some sunshine. All right, you guys, have a good day and stay blessed. Take care. Thanks for stopping by.